ornamental fish are aquarium fish. Any fish that people keep in a fish bowl or in an aquarium inside their houses, offices, or anywhere, it is considered an ornamental fish. There are two groups to it, the freshwater ornamentals and then the marine ornamentals. But I think right now we'll tackle more on the freshwater ornamentals because it has a huger chunk of the market. The mga most popular types of fish would be, of course, the goldfish, the Japanese koi, the arowana, the flower horn, but we won't forget yung mga live bearers and yung mga egg layers. Now, why is the goldfish and the arowanas and the kois and the flower horns so popular? It's because of feng shui. Diba? Ang daming mga Chinese dito, and I think not only Chinese people believe in feng shui, but most of us do. That's why it has become so popular. I would say breeding ornamental fish is still a very viable business to go into, especially certain varieties. Like, for the easier ones, the beginner types of fish would be the live bearers because they give birth every 26 days. So every month, you'll have a new batch of fish that you can sell. So I think if people would go into the breeding of ornamental fish, it'd still be good business. Here at Bio Research, we do encourage people to go into the breeding of ornamental fish. We teach people how they're gonna breed, how they're gonna maintain. We can provide the breeders, and then we also buy back the produce. So there will be no problem with marketing their produce. One of the most in-demand fish today would be the Siamese fighting fish or the Bettas splendens. And we encourage people to go into breeding of this, especially for the livelihood projects or backyard breeding programs. It's because very low cost yung kailangan nila to go into breeding of fighting fish. Imagine, a fighting fish can survive in a gin bottle, or in a beer bottle, or in a bottle of mineral water, even in a Jollibee or a McDonald's plastic cup. So if you have plenty of those, you could easily breed fighting fish in your own backyard. The reason why the Siamese fighting fish or the Bettas are so popular is because of its vibrant colors. You could see there's so much colors. There are blue, greens, purples, there are yellows, pinks, even copper colors of fighting fish. Even the varieties, there's such a wide variety from the crown tails to the half moon to the split tail to the delta. So it's easy to maintain. You don't need to pay too much attention to it. They could live without any aeration. You don't need a filtration. And aside from it's easy to keep, it's also easy to breed. Now, you just need to condition the male and the female. If they're mature enough, you put them together. The female would lay eggs, you take the female out, and then the male would do the rest. From rearing to taking care of the young, the male would do the job. So, siguro, not really a disadvantage, but something we need to be aware of is that fighting fish are very, very territorial. Na sa ibang mga countries nga, ginagawa silang pangsabong, that's why they're called fighting fish. But here, for breeding, if you put in the female too prematurely, na she's not conditioned enough to lay the eggs at once or to spawn, the male would beat her up to death. So, once the female would release the eggs, you need to take her out at once because the male would be the one to take care of the eggs, wait until the eggs would hatch into fry, and then he would rear them. So everything would be done by the male. One way para ma-prevent natin na the male would really beat up the female once you put her into his container is you get a big container, have the male in. Once he's settled, you put the female in a separate container, put it into the bigger container, and get them introduced. Parang get them acquainted. So, siguro mga 3 days, magkakilala na sila. Then that's the time, kondisyon na yung female mo. Then you release her into the container of the male for breeding. Another way for us to know if the male is mature enough to breed and if he's ready to take care of the eggs and the young is when he creates a bubble nest. But of course, this is not always so accurate. So from the fry, within 5 to 6 months, we're sure that the male is already mature enough and he can be bred with a ready female. So during the introduction, when you get the two fish acquainted, the male and the female betta, you put them together siguro mga for 3 days before you finally release the female into the container of the male. Now, once na magkasama sila, overnight yan, maghahabulan and everything, but on the following day, normally, the next day, magbibigay na ng eggs yung female. So once, yun naghahabulan kasi silang ganyan. So the male, pagpapalabas na niya yung egg ng female, so squeeze na yung tummy ng female, there's gonna be an embrace, and then ilalabas ng female yung mga eggs. Once na nahulog niya, the male would go down, get the eggs, and put it into his bubble nest. So yun yung nangyayari. Then, once na yung female, wala nang eggs na malabas, you need to take her out, or else bubugbugin talaga siya ng tatay. Now, kung nandun na lahat ng mga eggs dun sa bubble nest, you have to wait ng mga 3 days, they would hatch, magkakabuntot yan. So, mag-wiggle-wiggle na sila dun sa bubble nest, and some fish, some tiny fry would fall down, gagawin ng male, kukunin niya sa mouth niya, then ilalagay niya ulit dun sa bubble nest. So, that whole cycle of him taking care of the young would take for 3 to 5 days. Then afterwards, you can separate the young, then feed them na. Initially, yung mga fry, pag nag-hatch sa egg, they still have a yolk sac na yun yung mag-serve as food nila for the first 3 days. Afterwards, when you separate the fry from the male na betta, you can feed them artemia, brine shrimps, or sifted daphnia. So, yung mga young, yung mga fry, once na nahiwalay na sila, kailangan we make sure clean yung water. But of course, clean yung water, well aerated, since young pa sila, hindi pa sila marunong na umakyat sa surface to get air. Ngayon, kailangan doon sa tubig, palaging may food. So you introduce the daphnia, you introduce the brine shrimp, they're free swimming. So anytime the fry get hungry, they have something to eat. And in order to maintain cleanliness, of course, we need to do partial changes of water every day, at least 10%. By doing siphon. So you siphon all the dirt that falls into the bottom of the aquarium. Well, with that, that's good enough in order to maintain the whole batch. So you can grow the fry in a community tank for a month to a month and a half. Afterwards, pwede mo nalagay sila sa individual na containers and grow it for another month, then they're ready for the market. The reason now we have to grow them for at least 2 months to 2 months and a half is to be able to identify whether they are male and females. Kasi the male is normally more expensive as compared to the female. Kasi yung malalaki, mas makukulay sila, maganda yung finnage, mas attractive as compared to yung females. And normally, pag nagsispawn yung isang average size female, you could get 30 to 50 eggs. Yung mga females, after you breed them, normally, papahingahin mo muna sila ng mga 1 month para maging healthy ulit sila, kakonditionin mo ulit sila para makapag-ipon ulit sila ng egg. Then, after 3 months, a complete cycle, you could breed them again. In a year, you could breed siguro the fighting fish mga 4 to 5 times. Today, there's still a huge potential if you go into fish breeding, especially fighting fish, because fighting fish is very in demand nowadays. And the beauty of this is that it doesn't take up all your time. You can do this during your spare time, kids can do it, housewives can do it, even your drivers can do it. So in your backyard, you just need a small space. If you have the cups, if you have the stands, then just go into breeding of fighting fish. And BioResearch is here to help you market your produce, and also for any technical questions, we're here to assist you. So, if you're interested, you can contact BioResearch and call Mr. Alan Lee or Ms. Cora Coloso through 826-3535-38. Or, watch lang kayo ng Mag-Agri tayo kasi dito we will be featuring a lot of different types of fish na i-breed, from kois to goldfish to gouramis to angelfish, at sa susunod pa, even other pets i-feature din natin. So, if you want to earn extra income and in the comfort of your own backyard, watch Mag-Agri tayo kasi for sure marami kayo may pick up dito.